I call Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's my pleasure to take a call on the Victim Orders Against Violent Offenders bill in its first reading in the House today. It's always great to see the House get behind a bill like the House has today, and a bill where it's got cross-party support, at least for its first reading, because this bill is about victims, and victims should always come first over offenders. And I listened to what David Clendon said, and I think he was measured, but I didn't agree with everything that he said, and I think the balance has to go to victims over offenders, and their rights and their safety and their security first. And I think most of the debate today has been measured. I think there's been some really good, strong points which should be debated and teased out in the Select Committee. And the points around when you can apply for an order, I think, is a really important one, because we don't want victims to have to relive it again 5 years later when the offender gets released. About the length of time of a conviction has been a really good point as well today. And also getting that balance right between victims and offenders. As much as I think it should always be on the side of victims, I think it's good to have that debate as well in the Select Committee process. And that's what it's for, to tease out all these issues which people have concerned about in the debating chamber today. I cannot imagine for a moment, Mr Speaker, what it is like to be a victim of a serious violent offence or a sexual crime. I've got no idea how a victim moves forward from that, or what they go through when it happens to them. Or even their family, what their family faces when something like that has happened to them, or the time it takes them to recover. And I couldn't even imagine what it would be like if you were that victim and your offender was loitering around your front fence, you were meeting that person in the supermarket, Mr Speaker. I could not imagine what that would be like. So I think this bill is very, very important, this new mechanism to allow victims to obtain a non-contact order. And I think this just gives another tool in the toolbox for victims to actually be able to move forward with their lives and to put some of this behind them. And we've had debate today about how communities can be very small. And what do you do when you've got a victim and an offender in the same small community and they have to live together? How does that work? And I hope we have submitters come to that Select Committee in that scenario and tell us what type of tools we need to make this legislation even stronger. Mr Speaker, I think this bill is just one of many which this government has put forward to strengthen victims in New Zealand and where they stand and what they face and how we can help them. But I actually think our focus, and it is as a government, should be on prevention of crime. Because with prevention of crime, we have less offenders and we have less victims. And that is where we're growing, and that's where our outcomes are coming with reduction of crime in New Zealand. Mr Speaker, I think this is a fantastic bill, and I can't wait to hear the debate in the Select Committee. Thank you.
I understand the next call is a split call. Larissa Wall.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. Thank you very much.